All right, we're going to make a live template. So let's go into Flutter, and we're just going to make a new project. The purpose of a live template is actually pretty simple. While a Flutter application is quite simple, as you can see, there's a lot of typing to it, and we want to simplify this for the sake of learning. So let's move this down, and let's just Control Alt and delete. And we're going to make a simple Flutter program. We're going to say import, and we're going to type material, and we want the Flutter material package. Once again, material is like the material of your desk. It's just a flat surface you can move things around on. Now we need to do a few things here. Say void main, and we need to make a few classes. And we want to extend a stateful widget. Now we want to make the state of that widget. So we'll say class This little bit gets a little confusing here, so we want to kind of explain this a little bit. This is the basic flow of a Flutter application. You have a main, and in the main, we need to actually do the run app. So we're going to say run app. And you notice how it wants a widget called app. Well, we need to make a new material app. What a material app is an application that uses a material. It's a very vague concept, I have to admit, but that's how they've designed this. So think you have a material in front of you, such as a desk. On that material, you can move things around. A material app is an application that runs on that desk. We want to set the home, equals new, and we want to make my app. So what we're really doing here is we're saying run app, we want a new material app, so we get all the material goodness, buttons, icons, you name it. And we want to set the home screen. In this case, it's my app, this class here. Now, the my app class extends a stateful widget. Now, we've talked a little bit about state. State is just simply remembering what's going on. Think of it like you're driving a car. You turn the turn signal on. That turn signal is going to click at a very interval. Click, click, click. As it does, that's the state, whether it's clicking or not clicking. We need to override something here. We're going to say override. We want to create state. And we're going to create a new instance of the state class. So what is going on here? Okay, we have our application. It extends a stateful widget, meaning it's going to remember its state. But the stateful widget itself is not actually the state. Think of that. Think of the ramifications of that. You are a person. You are wearing clothes. At least I hope you are while you're watching this video. Those clothes are your state. You can change your clothes at any time you want, thus changing your state. You are not your state. The state is not you. So think of the My App as you as a person, and the state being the clothes that you're wearing. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting here. We want to override the build function, and we need to say widget, and here we go. Widget, build context, and then to do, implement a build. Let's just get rid of that to do because we're going to do that right now. What is build context? This is the context of which this method is being run. Whether it's in startup, shutdown, refresh, etc., it doesn't matter. It's the current context, and that's what we need. Now, there's a fair bit of typing here. If you don't feel like typing all this out, by all means, don't. I'm going to post the code out on GitHub. There'll be a link associated with this video. You can just simply watch me type, follow along, and then copy and paste the code as needed. All right, so we're going to return a new scaffold. Now, a scaffold is a structure on which you're going to build your material application. Think of it like a scaffold on the side of a building. There's different levels to this. The first level is called app bar, and we're going to make a new app bar. In here, we have a title, And the title, we want to make a new text. And if all of this is very confusing, don't worry. We're going to cover all this in future tutorials. Right now, we're just building a template. So the first level in our scaffold's app bar. In the app bar, we're making a new app bar and then filling in the widgets. Notice how the title is this widget. We're saying new text. We're not just saying ... and then hello. We're actually saying make a new widget and put it in there, meaning we can put any type of control we want in there. Now, if at any time you want to know what you can do, hit Control and space, and you'll get a list of things that are appropriate for whatever control you're currently in. So we want to select the body, and we want a new container. Once again, Control space, and you can see a list of things. First thing I want to do is I want to actually set the padding. And we're going to say new edge inset all, and I'm just going to set this to 32.0, which is a double. Control space again, and you see how there's a child. Get very familiar with child because it's a repeating pattern. It's a design pattern. So the child of this is going to be a new center. That may be a new concept for you. You're like, wait, what? Center is actually an object? That's correct. You're making a new center. You're not just saying center this. Then in the center, we are also going to make a child. That child is going to be a new column. Now you notice how column has children, meaning it can have multiple. And it's just a list of widgets. A widget is pretty much anything that you want. It's kind of the generic placeholder for an object. In here, we're going to say new text, hello world. Let's go up and pull up our emulator. And you can see we have nothing running yet. Let's go ahead and run this, just to make sure there's no bugs in the code. It's going to take just a moment for it to build and push it out to the device. And once it's finally up there, we'll have hot reloading enabled and all the other goodness. As you can see, this is the basic structure of a Flutter application. We have our scaffold, or actually our material app in place. This blue area is the app bar. The body is here. We have this hello world. There are other parts of the scaffold that we'll cover in future tutorials, but right now, just focus on this. Control A, Control C to copy, and then we're just going to simply go into settings. Look for something called a live template. Be sure to select Flutter and click this little green plus icon. You want to make a new live template. Call this whatever you want. In my case, I call it tutorial. Give it a description and paste the code in there. To show you what this looks like, here's what I'm using. So it just says tutorial, Flutter tutorial. It has the code already in there. And shorten FQ names on the default tab. Just hit OK or apply, and you're good to go. What this does is when you make a new application, you can just delete everything out and type the word tutorial and hit enter, and all the code will be there right at your starting point.